Alright, in this video we're going to go over multiple state machines and fix a little bit of bugs that will come from doing this. So what I've done is I've come into our animation graph and I now have a second state machine called airborne. That's done by just right clicking, new state machine, and adding new state machine and naming it airborne. What I have here is a select animation by enumeration movement mode. And all we need to do is get our whatever our character's cast is. This is my adventure child blueprint, and that was here. I have set up the parent and child blueprint classes, so that's why this might be different from what you have. And we're getting its character movement, getting its movement mode. Once you use this select animation, you need to right click and actually add the pins for walking and falling. Otherwise, it'll just have a default only. Next, we're going to see how things have changed a little bit. So within locomotion, ignoring the attacks, I no longer have a wall slide, mantle, or the jumping / falling. And all of that is now contained within our airborne. And it still is just the same with the mantle and wall slide jumps. They still have the same animations and the same transitions out. So when you're moving them over, make sure that you just copy them exactly the same. It still functions exactly the same, where we are just doing the time remaining on mantle equal to 0 to transition out, and the player states not equaling wall slide to transition out of that into the falling and jumping. Perfect. Now if we hop immediately in, everything seems to work fine until we notice if we try to mantle, we get stuck. Everything seems to break. And when we actually use our slide, things get a little bit weird. If you feel it, oh, that's right, mantling doesn't work. When we slide, it's not moving properly while we're in the air. So we need to fix these, and I'll address why it's going on. Within our mantle area, after we perform the mantle jump, the jump to the mantle animation, we have this disable movement. And if we hover over it, it says makes movement impossible by setting movement mode to none. Now, that's a problem because we're determining what animation state machines we're going to go into based off of our movement mode. And if we right click, we see there's actually an option for none. And so what's going on here is we are setting our movement mode to none and now trying to play nothing. And that's a problem. So we need to just get rid of that. Boom. And we see that will fix our, get up there. All right, come on. My goodness, there we go. Mantling, I swear it works. Everything's fine. Perfect. The second problem was sliding. So what's actually occurring is when we slide, if we slide off of a ledge, we would then be falling. We would now have a negative z velocity, so it would consider us to be falling. And we don't have any way to stop our slide once that happens. So we need to introduce some type of a stop. And I just do that by pulling off of the end of our timeline and checking our z velocity, seeing if it's less than 0. If that's true, we're going to make a sequence that first will stop the timeline, and secondly, we'll pull down here and come and set our player states to none and still run all of our other logic, as well as making sure we now uncrouch. Perfect. And the last thing should be within over here on our binds. Remember, we have the movement mode changed function. The only thing we need to do is just get rid of that jump. It's no longer necessary, as we used to use this switch for the movement mode to enable us to jump to our airborne, but now we have an entire state machine. Additionally, we do need to add in this. If you would like, I have a switch on player states, pulling off of sliding. So whenever our player states are equal to none or sliding, we're going to run this logic. This allows us to slide into a mantle. If I don't have this, we can notice we don't actually mantle it, even though we probably should have. So if we have that right there, we now see that we can a little more fluidly just slide off of a ledge into a mantleable area and perform the mantle. Perfect. That should be it for this video. So I hope that makes sense. We're now using multiple state machines, and we will be introducing combat so very soon. Please feel free to ask any questions.